I never thought that I'd be in this position, but in a week's time, I'm going to be homeless in Thailand. Literally homeless.
Welcome back to Viajero, where I react to anything and everything on the internet. Let's get right to it.
Welcome to Viajero, guys. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how cheap is Thailand, okay? How affordable is Thailand? Do people go in there thinking it's all sweet and then they end up leaving within a week or a month or 2 months or 3 months with thousands of dollars in debt, of just thousands it's gone, right? I think we've all seen this, right? I've experienced a bit of this, not too much of it, but you know, I've known to reel myself back in from overspending. But let's get to this video and see what this guy has to say about why people, you know, waste money in Thailand and how to avoid some of the traps. Let's get to it.
Thailand is very cheap, but for most people coming to the country, this actually means that they get trapped into a false sense of security, and then they end up living a more expensive lifestyle, and many times they'll end up spending way more money than they would back at home. And the reason for this is because you always want to be outside in Thailand.
Exactly. Okay, there's so many factors. Okay, so I went solo. I made a lot of friends. The weather's amazing. The food is affordable, right? People always want to go out. There's a real social, like a really sociable culture out there, you know? Out here where I live, it's cold. It's currently winter now. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you just always want to be out. If I was in a country, right, where it's always warm all the time, if I was living in Miami, for example, right, in the States, then yeah, like I would be out more often. You'd spend more money more often. You want to go out to restaurants, go out to places and all that kind of stuff. But being that I'm in hibernation mode, you just naturally save more money. So yeah, that's one of those things that you're going to figure out when you're there. It's, you know, it's really kind of sneaky because it kind of sneaks up on you. You don't realize the amount of money that you're spending until you look at your bank account and you're like, oh shit, like I lost a lot of money. So yeah.
The weather's always amazing. If you're back in England, for example, you'll spend a lot of time indoors, especially during the winter. So you'll end up saving more money when you're back home in the winter, being more frugal perhaps than you would when you're visiting Thailand at probably any point of the year. Probably in the rainy season, there'll be moments where you'll stay indoors, but because everything's so cheap.
It depends where you are as well too, because I know in Chiang Mai, in northern Thailand, where I spent a lot of my time in Thailand, sorry, in Chiang Mai, in that part of Thailand, it gets a bit colder, you know. There's moments when I was there where it felt a little chilly, not chilly to like, you know, Canada's weather chilly, but it was pretty cold. So yeah, there are moments like when you're there, you're used to the heat, so when it kind of shifts a little bit, you really feel it. But compared to here, it's like night and day. So yeah, I get where he's coming from, but you still are going out no matter what. Even if it is not as hot, it's still not cold enough for you to want to stay inside.
You just want everything in abundance. Oh, I'll have 4 smoothies. I'll have 3 coconuts. Oh, a massage. Oh, I'll have 2 massages. I'll have a head massage, a foot massage. Some people will even have a happy ending or 2. So
I mean, like, who goes out for boba or like getting a smoothie from Booster Juice like 2-3 times a day? No one, right? But when you're out there, it's hot, you go out often. Yes, obviously you have a full-time job, you have to work, but there's going to be moments when you know, grab a drink before you go to the gym. When you're finished work, you want to go out with friends, even a late night, you know, walk by the beach or whatever, and you're going to take, you know, like you're going to buy another drink. So it adds up. He's right. You know, just the environment, it kind of, you're more prone to spend more money. It does add up.
that's how it works in Thailand. You think you're coming here to save money, but realistically, most people probably spend way more money here than they would back home.
So yeah, as I totally agree with this guy, he's so right. Because like when you live it, when you're there, you're gonna know how much you spend. Like, okay, after a while, obviously, when you're not green anymore, you know, when it comes to traveling, you're gonna get better at it, better at budgeting, better at knowing yourself and your spending habits. But in the beginning, when I first got there, 2023 and also 2024, I consider myself still pretty green, you know, in that part of the world. So you're learning the currency, and sometimes when you're spending currency that's not something that you're familiar with, you start spending it a bit more than you would if it was your own money, because you know the value, face value, when you look at it. When I look at Thai baht, it's like, okay, it's just like, it's just, you don't give it as much value mentally because you're not used to it yet. So that's something to look out for when you are traveling in Southeast Asia. Let's keep going.
Been to Thailand 2.5 years ago with £3,000 in my pocket, thinking that would last me. And I spent it all within 6 weeks. And this is the thing with people coming to Thailand. They're like, oh, I've got 5k to my name. I'm going to move to Thailand. And they're like, no, how have I spent all my money after they've been there for 3 months?
And that's another thing too. People go there, right, thinking like they just quit their job. They're just going to, live off their savings. That is a stupid idea, okay? You can do that, all right, for a bit of time, but get some income coming in. Get a remote job, study, do something. There's so many certs that you can get. There's so many things that you could learn online that can get you employed, right? The tech field, for example. There are certain jobs that just have a really low barrier to entry. So marketing, that kind of thing, has a lot of competition. So, I'd say maybe stay away from that. I've done it myself. I've been in that field before. But I think that the IT field, that kind of thing, especially in this AI age, will have you covered when you want to live abroad. But just make sure that you study, right? Just take the time, make the effort to not only plan for your trip, but plan for your finances, how you'll make money if you live out there. Because if not, you're not going to last. You're not going to last out there for sure.
And they've just crawled around Pattaya being a degenerate. But seriously, if you have a plan to come to Thailand long term, you need to have the resources in place to do so. Otherwise, you're going to be in a bit of a sticky one when you're messaging your friends and family going, excuse me, I spent all my money on bar girls. Can you please pay for my ticket to go back to the UK? Either you need to have a considerable amount of money. I'm talking a pension, or you have to.
Yes, if you're young, right, like the same age that we're all in, right, like Gen Z, millennials, right, that age group, then you're probably not going there to retire yet, right? Some people are, who knows, right? But for the most part, you're still employed, you still want to work, you still want to make money. But if you happen to be someone who's retired, you don't need to, right? I mean, especially if you planned for it, you're well off, then you don't have to. You could live as you please, so to speak, right? But if you are still at a working age, then yes, you are better off planning really well, budgeting, finding out where you're going to live, not hopping around everywhere like I did for a bit, where I was just like, trying out different places to try to see like the type of, luxury that Thailand offers, the kinds of lifestyles that you could live. That's always great to do, but I did a bit of that, so I think I know where it is that I want to stay longer in the future when I do plan to go back there. Yeah.
Have a way of remotely making money. I don't know what that way of remotely making money is for you, but for me it was making my Thailand travel guide that I sold at the time. It was literally a PDF document that I used to market through TikTok, and that was able to make me my first £1,000 a month whilst I was living here long term. I spent all the money I brought with me in 6 weeks, partying, on broccoli, on booze, paying for everything because I thought I was the man. When in reality, I was only a couple of weeks away from being on zero and going, Christ, I need to make some coin.
There are certain vices that will definitely eat your money. One of the things that I noticed, especially in Thailand, is that the way that people date there, it's not like in the West. In the West, people do a lot of 50-50. Out there, you usually kind of take care of the woman that you're dating. So you happen to, you'll spend more money and that kind of thing when you do, date a lot of women. So that's another thing that's going to eat away at your savings, at your money. Like he said, drinking and, broccoli, how he said too. Those kind of things, obviously, I don't do that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really matter for me. But definitely going out to eat and those kind of things are definitely ways that I do spend my money when I do go out. That's for sure.
So don't make the same mistakes I did. Make sure that if you're planning an extended trip to Thailand, you have the ability to finance your journey. Otherwise, you'll end up like a backpacker making friendship bracelets for people sitting on the floor of Bangkok.
And I've seen that, right? I think everyone's seen that on social media. Seeing those people with like elephant pants, right? Long hair, kind of matted hair, just like sitting down, they're trying to sell you something handmade that they made, which is, it's cool, right? It's cool. Everyone has a certain phase in their life that they do that kind of stuff. Hopefully it's when you're a lot younger and not when you're older. But I think that's not the way to be, the way to live when you're traveling. Kind of e-begging, that kind of thing's not really great. So you're better off trying to, live off of work. Make some money, live a great life out there.
Going, I've run out of money. Please help me with my travel money. Anyway, God bless.
Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my commentary. I love making travel content. This is a new channel. This is going to be probably the second video coming out. But anyways, if you guys have videos that you want me to react to, make sure to email, okay, me. I'm going to put my email somewhere in my description there. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.